Welcome back, everybody, to the 2 Minute Warning. Long time no see. Today, I'm back on the topic of the NFL. Going to bring you guys some bold predictions for the Cleveland Browns headed into the 2021 season. I think this Browns team, the potential is through the roof. So, again, I think the hopes should be high for you Browns fans. And today, I'm going to be giving you some bold predictions for this Cleveland team. Before we get into the video, question of the day. And this is one that I will touch on, or not necessarily touch on. I will go in depth on my answer as one of my bold predictions. But I want to hear from you guys. How many touchdowns do you think Baker Mayfield will throw this year? Definitely the best team going into this year, at least on paper, and it should be the best team he's ever been on here with Cleveland. But a guy that's never broken 30 touchdowns. I believe his career high is 28 in his rookie season. A guy that's never broken 30 touchdowns. How many touchdowns do you think he'll throw? Comment below, and at the end of the video, or at least throughout the video, you'll hear my answer. But let's get right into my bold predictions. My first one is that the Cleveland Browns will win the AFC North this year. Looking at the other teams in the division, the Bengals, who bright future hopefully in Joe Burrow, but not very good. The Steelers lose the Pouncey brothers. You lose Bud Dupree. Ben Roethlisberger is just straight up getting too old to play, and your next guy is either Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins, so they're not going to be very good, I don't think. And then the Baltimore Ravens are a very real threat, but I do think that the Cleveland Browns can beat them. So why is it such a bold prediction? Because that's a very realistic approach that I just took to the question. Well, the Cleveland Browns have never won the AFC North. They've got several division titles back when they were in the AFC Central before the divisions were redone. I think 2002 was when it became the AFC North, and the Browns have never won that division. They just got their first playoff win in 20-something years or so last year. So anyway, I think that while it is relatively realistic, still bold to say that the Browns will do something that they have never done before. Again, touching on the other teams in the division, I think the Bengals are almost irrelevant, unfortunately. Reverse flash, if you're watching this video, I'm sorry, man. I like the Bengals, to be honest. I was a Carson Palmer fan back in the day that he was there, but I just think the Bengals are irrelevant. The Pittsburgh Steelers, again, still a pretty good defense. Still going to be probably a 9 or 10 win team. Remember, we got 17 games this season. 9 or 10 win team, I would say, but that's the top. That's the ceiling, and that's not going to win the AFC North, which I think is right up there with the NFC West for the best division in the game, and also the AFC West now with the Chargers on the rise and the Chiefs obviously good, and the Broncos, who knows how good Trey Lance will be. So they're right up there. The AFC North is right up there with the best divisions in football, and I do think that the competition will be there, but mainly between the Cleveland Browns and the Baltimore Ravens. Say what you want about Lamar Jackson. I'll tell you, I'm not the biggest fan of the guy either. I don't think he's that good of a quarterback. I don't think he can throw the ball that well. All that I do agree with. But one thing you can't argue with is that he wins football games. His rookie season, where he only started 7 games, he won 6-1. And then the next year, the Ravens won 14 games, and then last year they won 11. So the one thing he's managed to do there is win football games. What did they do this year? I'm trying to think. Sammy Watkins. They added Sammy Watkins to that roster. Give him somebody else to throw the ball to. No, Sammy Watkins is not a top receiver in the game. Maybe once he was for a little bit, but last year, 2019 with the Chiefs, he had a big catch, whatever. He can help that Ravens team out a lot. Right now, their number one receiver is arguably Hollywood Brown at 5'7". So I think he might be able to come in and take a number one spot for the Ravens. So that's what they got going on for them. They got Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins, and Lamar Jackson, if you want to say a third running back. So their offense is good. Defense is okay. But I think the Browns have the best roster in the division, and they'll win it for that reason. Their offense is super high-powered. Baker Mayfield, of course, under center, the head of the team. That's the one question mark is, can he lead the team? Because I think he can. A lot of people don't know yet if he can, but last year he really took a huge step forward. But the backfield with Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb. The receiving core, hopefully we'll get OBJ back. There doesn't seem to be much talk about trading him, so we're assuming he's going to be on the team. Jarvis Landry, Rashad Higgins, they re-sign. Austin Hooper, David Njoku, the list goes on with what they got on offensive as weapons. Their offensive line is very good. Then at cornerback with Denzel Ward and Troy Hill, and the safety John Johnson and Myles Garrett. This offense is stacked. The Browns will be winning the AFC North this year for the first time in franchise history. That I read that earlier today, which kind of inspired me to make this video, that the Browns have never won that division, which kind of surprised me. But that is my first bold take. Secondly, I have your Myles Garrett leading the league in sacks. Last year, it was TJ Watt with 15, I believe, and then there was a couple guys, Aaron Donald and somebody else, tied at 13.5. Last year, Myles Garrett had 12. Going through his career, his rookie year in 2017, starting at his rookie year in 2017, 7 sacks. Then he went 13 and a half in 2018. He was a Pro Bowler that year. That was a great season for him. Then he got 10, and then he got 12. Another Pro Bowl season last year. So Myles Garrett can play football. That's the one thing that we know in this conversation. Can he lead the league in sacks with the guys like T.J. Watt on the rise? Chandler Jones of Arizona is getting a lot of sacks. Of course, Aaron Donald will always be in the conversation until the day that he retires. I know that, or at least I think that. He's obviously an animal. But Myles Garrett has never really been on a Cleveland Brown defense, anything like this defense now, with the guys at corner, and like I said, Troy Hill and Denzel Ward. Not that is an immediate effect, but just the Browns defense is so good that I do think that they'll have to worry about more than just picking up Myles Garrett only. They added Jadeveon Clowney there at linebacker. He also plays end. So that'll just take a little bit of heat off of Myles Garrett. And then you think about the fact that their offense should be the best that it's been, obviously, in the last 4 years now that Garrett's been on the team. This is the best offense that he's ever played with. So logically, you can assume Myles Garrett will be on the field a less amount of time than when they've typically had a bad offense that keeps them on the field 3/4 of the game, which can go both ways in an argument. If he's on the field less, he'll get less sacks. But I take it as the opposite. When the defense is on the field less, they capitalize more. When they're on the field, they have more energy. That's kind of an abstract way to look at it. But I do think that Myles Garrett will benefit from just having such a good team around him. On the offensive side of the ball, it'll give him time, give the defense time to recharge on the sideline and come back on the field and really make plays. And then on the defensive side of the ball, with such a well-rounded defense, and then bringing in Jadeveon Clowney to help him out, other teams' offensive front will not be able to focus on Garrett as much. So I got Myles Garrett leading in sacks. Based off of this year's numbers, I think it might be safe to say it's going to take 14-plus sacks to win, to lead the league. When you got guys like Aaron Donald there at 13.5, and then T.J. Watt with 15, I think to say T.J. Watt will get 15 again, probably not. But will it take 14 or 15 to lead the league? Probably will, because of how many guys there are that are getting that many sacks. So I'm going to say, right now, my prediction will be Myles Garrett will lead the league with 14.5 sacks. I think that is very realistic for a guy as talented and just physically capable as Myles Garrett. I think that's super realistic. So that's my second bold take. Myles Garrett leads the league in sacks. My last, third and final bold take for the video ties back into the question of the day. I had to kind of do some math to put this bold take into words for you guys, but it's going to have to do with Baker Mayfield and how many touchdowns he's going to throw. I have him throwing under 34 touchdowns. That is the number. The number sounds weird, but this is kind of how I came to that number. I looked at a couple of the other best quarterbacks in the league between Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and Patrick Mahomes. Those are the three that I took for sampling. Now, the reason, my original number is going to be 30. I was thinking that 30 would be the spot for Baker Mayfield, which doesn't sound like a lot, and it's really not. But that was going to be my bold take, is that the Browns could win games and be as good as I say they will be without him having a crazy season. But then I thought about the 17th game, so I had to do a little bit of math. But I looked at some numbers. Aaron Rodgers averaged 3 touchdowns a game last year. That was insanely high. Brady averaged 2.5, and Mahomes added 2.4. But of course, he's had a 50 touchdown season. So those are the guys that are the best in the league, in my opinion. 2.5 touchdowns or higher a game is what they average. So I picked the 34 number to pick an average of 2. So that's Baker Mayfield's average of 2 per game. Can he keep that pace and finish with 34 touchdowns? I think the answer is no. I think he'll be under 34 again, under 2 per game, which seems bold. The reason that I think this is bold is because how they're going to win so many games. We did a video about the Browns record, and we had him. Jay and I both had him, I think, at 13-4. So how they're going to win 13 games with Baker Mayfield averaging less than 2 touchdowns per game? Well, I've said this a bunch of times on the Browns video, and it just feels weird for me to say it over and over again, but I know there's probably different people watching these videos. But I think that the Browns' key to winning football games is Baker Mayfield minimizing the turnovers. Let me check here. Last year, if I'm not mistaken, I think he threw 8 interceptions 8 interceptions, I think, total was what he threw last year, which is very, very low. A good step up for him, shows some maturity from Baker Mayfield. But that's the key to this Browns team winning, in my opinion, is Baker Mayfield playing efficient football, managing the game efficiently and effectively without trying to be the superstar, without launching the ball downfield all the time, because that's what leads to turnovers. And when Baker starts turning the football over, nothing is going to work out well for this Browns team. This Browns team has the best collective backfield in the NFL. Neither of their running backs are top in the league. Nick Chubb's probably I would say top 5, top 7. But they don't have the best running back in the league. But between the two guys they have, I'm going to say the best backfield in the league, I don't think that that's that bold to say right there. I think that's a fact. They have the best backfield in the league. So that's how they're going to win football games, relying on that backfield and really relying on Baker to make smart throws, throw for a touchdown or two a game, average right around 1.75, say, if I throw a number out there, a game. And I think that that will be the key for the Browns winning. The backfield can carry them, the offensive line can carry them, and for damn sure their defense with the guys, like I said, John Johnson and Troy Hill, Davian Clowney on top of Myles Garrett. I really think that that is going to be the key to the Browns winning football games. So those are my 3 bold takes. So running back over them, I got the Browns winning the AFC North for the first time in franchise history. I've got Myles Garrett leading the league in sacks, which 14.5 was the number I threw out. And then I've got Baker Mayfield averaging less than 2 touchdowns per game. That is what I've got. And back to the question today, how many touchdowns do I think he'll have? Well, I say less than 34, but I think the number will be right there at 33. That's what I got for Baker Mayfield. Guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. 2-Minute Warning.